there are some learnings probably that are being made at Google around Google AI. But when was it that it actually launched? Because it sort of feels like we talked about it a little bit, and it seems to have just been it's just launched.
Yeah, it's been building for a while. So this is Google's AI overview, where in search results, it will give you, if you ask a question, it will give you a summary at the top generated from all the data it's collected, basically.
Very much looks like a featured snippet.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like the, originally where you'd have the box, that sort of gave you the perfect answer.
Mm-hmm.
So now
in
we have,
theory.
Well, so this is the featured snippet was, the perfect answer, again, very loosely, but the most likely answer for the query that you're searching for. But now, this AI is the imperfect answer or the...
it's learning.
Yes.
Is probably the diplomatic way to put it. So I saw my first AI overview in the wild this week before. I can't remember what question I asked, but it came up with, like you say, before it would have been a featured snippet at the top. Yeah. Now it's just an AI overview.
Did you see it on mobile or desktop? Mobile.
Yeah.
Because we were just saying before we started, I haven't seen it yet in the wild, but you think it could be because of being always logged into Google, potentially.
Yeah.
You're more likely to see it if you have an account and have had an account for a long time. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm very jealous. But was this, so what you searched for, did the AI result line up? Do you think it was a good answer?
Yeah. So it was to do with a knee. Spay, the D says, I've got a dodgy knee.
Okay.
And it was about exercise to strengthen the particular muscle my physio has said is weak. And it came up with an answer, and it was, to my untrained eye, seemed correct. So seemed to line up with the information I knew. So I thought, oh, great, fine. Saves me, scrolling through the details. But it's not performed that way for everyone, which is what the news story has been this week. So there's been a few examples. BBC News ran a story that Google gave the answer. Somebody asked, how many rocks should human beings eat a day? And Google's AI answer was, geologists recommend people eat one small rock a day. So that's the main one that's kind of gone viral a little bit. There's another one, which is somebody asked about how they keep their cheese on their pizza, and Google recommended non-toxic glue.
Yeah.
And another one, which was quite interesting, I found was somebody asked Google how many degrees US presidents had earned, and one of them was Andrew Jackson, and 14 degrees between the years of 1947 and 2012, but he died in 1875. So
that was the one that I had seen.
Yeah, so there's obviously, it's not perfect. Yeah, no. I think is very much the main takeaway.
I guess like the question around that is, one, where is the data coming from? Mm-hmm. And we were talking a bit about that before this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said a large part of it is Reddit.
It seems to be. So I think we talked about this on a previous podcast, actually. Google they have a relationship now with Reddit. I'm not sure the details. And there's been a lot of kind of comments online about Reddit suddenly seems to be doing a lot better in search results than it did before, which is surely not a coincidence. But it does look like a lot of the answers potentially have come from Reddit. So the cheese on the pizza specifically, people have found what they think is a source, and it's an 11-year-old Reddit post where someone's obviously joked, oh, just glue the cheese on your pizza, it's fine. But unfortunately, Google obviously doesn't get tone and context, so it's taken that as fact and given you the response. So,
well, history has told us you cannot train AI on Reddit because there was something that happened a few years ago where people were training in an AI or a chatbot on Reddit, and it just very quickly devolved into a very racist, bigoted, snarky. So it had to be shut down quite quickly because it wasn't really fit for purpose for anything. So Reddit is a good place to go for some information, but don't get all of your information from Reddit, definitely, and take a lot of the things that Reddit tells you with a pinch of salt.
And I think it does show that, the guy, I can't remember the guy now who owns OpenAI, but he said basically, ChatGPT now, what we have, in 12 months' time, it's going to be laughably bad. And presumably at that point, what you have in 12 months' time from then is going to be, laughably bad again. And we've seen with Google, they had Bard, which launched initially giving incorrect information, so they had to take it down. Gemini, they had to relaunch, I think, the chatbot because it was too woke.
Too woke.
If for anyone watching online, you've got my air quotes there. That's too woke. They've had a bit of a mixed bag with AI, I think, but this is what we said at the beginning. it is learning. And that's the thing
Yeah.
with artificial intelligence. It has to learn based on the information it has. And that's going to, by, its nature, mean that early days, it's not as efficient as it's going to be in 12 months, 24 months, whatever. Or
Yeah.
even shorter
I think
than that, really.
a lot of the reading that I've done around this is essentially people may not actually be willing to use that kind of a feature because if you can't trust it, then you will go to those authoritative sites that you can trust. So if you're looking for some sort of information and you get the sort of, in your knee example, if you got an answer back and you were a bit like, that sounds okay, but I should probably do a bit more investigating, not taking everything on face value, and then going to the, I don't know, is it MD Web,
WebMD,
WebMD, yeah, thank you, or even to something like the Mayo Clinic or what, whoever it might be.
Yeah.
Those trustworthy sources to get that information from someone that you're like, yes, I know who this person is. I know this, as opposed to just like, oh, this is anything. And it's like the best way to, I don't know, fix your knee is jump up and down 20 times.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, it hurts, but Google told me that it's going to help.
And I think that's something that we will see because we're obviously looking at search generative experience. We always mix out the acronym, don't we, about what it means. SGE, that's it
just rolls off the tongue.
We're in conjunction with SEO, it's and what that means for clients and how it changes strategy and things like that. And I think one of the things that we'll probably see is for casual questions, people may be willing to take AI, but for anything medical, legal, financial, I especially after, like you say, Bard and Gemini and all the kind of things that Google have launched and then had to pull back from the content, I think people will be a bit dubious when it goes live. Like
I think
when you see AI overview, I think a lot of people will think,
if you think about people's usage habits, though, like with a featured snippet, I can't really think of any times where I've gone and searched for something and then just taken that snippet and gone, yep, perfect, that's the answer I need.
The only time I've done things like that with the example I always remember, and I don't know why, is the capital of Australia, because I always think Sydney. And, I will Google, what's the capital of Australia? Canberra, fine.
Do you have to keep checking that like every
More
year?
Often than you think, But it's the kind of thing that it's a one line, one word answer. That kind of thing I take from Google results because I don't need to go to a website to find that. And at the same time, from an SEO perspective, do you want people coming to your website who want to know the capital of Australia? They're not going to buy anything from you. So it's low quality kind of searches that saves your website junk traffic as well.
All of your capital of Australia memorabilia.
I know. I always think it's Sydney, and then I remember it's not. And honestly, it's one of those things that has never stuck in my brain, and I've no idea why.
Canberra.
There we go.
There you go. So this is the podcast that you need for digital marketing and also
capital of Australia.
Facts.